Hello again, team. All right, so we have a background today of some balloons. Someone's celebrating a happy birthday at Arte condominiums in downtown because Ricardo is there and he left his camera on. So who knows? I don't know what's going to happen during this call. And that door that's open, we may get a surprise. Who knows? You know, I don't know. Anything could happen here in this call. But anyway, we're going to do our best without the distractions. So welcome. This is yours truly, Coach. Today is Friday, August 4th. And I am here sharing with you regarding part 2 of the 9 ways a millionaire real estate agent thinks. And last week we covered the 9 ways, better said, we mentioned the 9 ways, in which I will review here. It's number 1, think powered by a big why. 2, think big goals and big models. Those are the foundationals, or the foundations, better said. 3, think possibilities. 4, think action. 5, think without fear. 6, think progress. 7, think competitively and strategically. 8, think standards. 9, think service. So today we're going to be focusing on the think big goals and big models. So on this, as those that have heard me share regarding the productivity coaching program, and that you have seen in the WhatsApp, the difference between a top producing agent and an average agent, it's basically mindset, number 1. Number 2, it is habits. 3, consistency. 4, accountability. 5, time management. 6, systems. 7, the will to succeed. And I did add another one, is focus. Today we're going to talk about the models per se, which is part of the systems that you're going to create for yourself. And then the other part is that any of you who have sat with me and the initial consultation regarding the productivity coaching program, there's 3 phases to the productivity coaching program that I believe are fundamental. Number 1 is your goals. What is your target? What's your objective? What is your big why? Why are you doing this business? Why did you get into the real estate business? And so that's phase number 1. The second phase is a part of the time management, where I help you to put a schedule together. And with that, it's to help you and propel you to succeed on a daily basis. And part 3, phase 3, is the part of the different areas that you could focus on and that you could generate business. So whether that's expireds, for sale by owners, commercial, geo farming, whatever it is, there's so many areas that you could find business. So for today, let's talk about thinking big goals and big models. And again, I encourage you, if you have not obtained a copy of the MREA book, I sincerely and highly encourage you to obtain a copy. You can find this on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, basically anywhere where they sell books, any business books, you can basically find this book. So I'll be doing a little bit of reading, and as I read, I chime in a little bit, share as to my experiences, and just expound on certain thoughts and ideas. So I'm looking to go for about 25, 30 minutes max, and I started about 5 minutes ago. So here we are, page 78, if you're following and reading. Says the second foundational model way the millionaire real estate agent thinks is to think big goals. So are your goals big? Are your goals little? Or even a better question, do you have any goals? What are your goals? Are your goals just in your mind, or do you have them written? Because that also makes a difference. If you have them in your mind and not written, yeah, those are goals. Those are, I would say, more thoughts and ideas more than goals. Now, if you have them written, now you're able to reference them on a daily or weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and see what it is that you're looking to accomplish. Okay. Now, as part of the goal setting, something that I have shared with many agents and I have introduced them is something to look at short-term goals. In other words, write goals down in quarterly basis with 3 priorities and 5 strategies. Now, that is to get you put action in place in order to accomplish your goals in increments of 3 months at a time. And this way you're able to gauge your progress. So again, going back here, is a millionaire real estate agent is to think big goals and big models. In working with top real estate salespeople, we discovered that anytime they tried to separate big goals and big models into 2 categories, it just didn't work. Okay, so you have to have both of them together, and basically it's almost like one to a certain extent. Now, continue reading here on page 78 is, if anything, the power behind having big goals is really about the power of acquiring big habits. So again, I started off about the difference between a top producing agent and an average agent. It is the habits that you have and the consistency of developing those habits that you have. In other words, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, carrying those habits day to day, week to week, month to month. And it is, at the end of the day, it will be like compounding interest that before you know it, you're going to be seeing the results as to your goals, your habits, and moving forward and moving your business forward, better said. So again, if anything, the power behind having big goals is really about the power of acquiring big habits by beginning with the end in mind. The professional habits you build will either empower or restrict you. What you must understand is that your habits will either serve as an empowering platform for the next level of your success, or as a restricting box trapping you inside your current level. Big goals are about reaching for your true potential. By focusing on big goals, you will be focusing on developing big habits. So let me pause here. So do your habits, and I'm going to lean here on another one of those important areas between a top producing agent and an average agent. Does your schedule match your goals? So 2 parts. Does your habits, does your schedule, do they support the goals that you have for yourself? And when I'm talking about goals, I'm talking about this business, this real estate business. Okay, so you need to have both of them. So going back to the book again, big goals are about reaching for your true potential. By focusing on big goals, you will be focusing on developing big habits. That will always be appropriate to achieving your highest levels of success. And in taking this approach, you'll find as you grow that your big habits never hold you back. Small goals tend to facilitate small habits. Big goals tend to facilitate big habits. Big goals require big habits to drive big models. Wow, that's a mouthful. Let me repeat that again. Small goals tend to facilitate small habits. Big goals tend to facilitate big habits. And big goals require big habits to drive big models. And again, the focus of this part 2 is about the models. Okay. Now, page 79, going to continue reading here in the first paragraph, says, Your task is to internalize this concept that in order to become your very best, you will have to think big and have big models. So that's what this book is about, basically. If you read this book on the cover, it says it's not about the money, it's about being the best you can be. Last week, when I was sharing about thinking big, or better said, thinking with the big why, it was about becoming the best. And basically, Gary Keller went into some of the things, conversations that he had with another agent in an interview, and about becoming the best. So if you want to listen into that, go into the YouTube channel, Canvas Miami Lakes YouTube channel, listen to last week's recording, and you're going to have a little bit of better idea as to what I am sharing here and discussing about becoming your best. Okay. So let's read again. Your task is to internalize this concept that in order to become your very best, you will have to think big and have big models. The habits that you create will either help you reach your goals or hamper your attempts. Warren Buffett points out that most people discover too late that the chains of habits are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. Wow, what a great quote. This is the problem with habits, and each and every one of you here at Canvas, for the most part, are new agents. You've been in the business a couple months, 6 months, maybe a year, 2 years. There's only a handful of agents who have been in this business more than 2 or 5 years currently here with Canvas. The problem is, or better said, you're in a good position because you're still in the forming stages of your business, of developing your business, of developing your habits. The problem with seasoned agents, and I'm going to include myself, is that we acquired bad habits. And those habits are very difficult to break unless you are really sold out in breaking those habits, and that you really want to break the chains. And just as Warren Buffett said, it says the chains of habits are too light to be felt until they're too heavy to be broken. So again, I'm speaking to each and every one of you about habits, and now is the time to develop those habits, those good habits. And that starts the night before and flows through the beginning of your day as you wake up. Okay, so don't fret. This is a process. This is a long-term process. This is not a race. It's a marathon. Provided that you are looking to have or make the real estate business a long-term career. Now, if you're in this business to just make extra cash, then yeah, these calls are good, these trainings are good, and you know, any training or any learning is useful. But if you're really sold out to building a business, if you're really sold out and you want to transition from your current occupation into a full-time real estate business, then it's going to require big action, big models, big habits, big systems, okay? And thinking big, empowered by a big one. So let's continue reading. When you begin with a big goal in mind, you consciously build the kinds of big habits that will serve as key building blocks for your entire career. What is amazing is that the big goals and big models also have a powerful magnetic effect. They pull us through all the smaller goals along the way. So again, you have the big goals, but in order to get to the big goals, you need to have the small goals. You need to have your daily goals, the weekly goals, the monthly goals. And that's where I come into play as a productivity coach, is to help you to develop, to have these goals, to establish these goals on what you need to do on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. And when you're when you're in momentum, that you have 3 to 5 closings already under your belt, that you are following the lead generating model, which is the model that I teach and that I coach from in the productivity coaching program, that you're getting leads on a daily and a regular basis, then we will meet on a regular basis, on a weekly basis for half an hour at a time. And there you will show up with your tracking forms, what your activities, what you did, how many contacts you made, how many appointments you made, how many presentations you made, how many people you entered into your CRM, and so on and so forth. Now, that's the part of the accountability. But for that, you need to allow yourself to be held accountable, to be coached in order to put this together. So look at the productivity coaching program as a puzzle. And the puzzle has many parts to it. But as you develop and as you move your business forward, then we start putting pieces together in order to put the whole big puzzle together in order for you to succeed in this business and make a living out of it. Continue on page 79. Now, after years of study and experimentation, big models are readily available to help anyone pursue a marathon. So again, what I said earlier, it's not a race, it's a marathon. On page 80, we're going to continue reading. It says, they accomplish these small goals because their habits, their diet, very important. And we'll touch on that. Again, their habits, their diet, all their training reflected a much larger model or a much larger goal. Big goals and big models speed you to achieving your very best faster and more easily than you would have ever imagined possible. So let me go back to here to the diet. So when I bought into this lead generating model and about blocking my schedule to lead generate in the morning, I kind of changed my habits, my eating habits a little bit. And it was a small fix, and one that I still carry to this day. So what I'm sharing here with you is something that I have been doing for almost 10 years, or maybe even a little bit more. And it is that I watch my sugar intake in the mornings, because with my sugar intake, then I get, anyone, if you eat anything that's sweet, you know that there's a crash at the end. And if there's not a crash, then your body is craving for more sugar. And guess what? You got to give it more sugar. Okay. So one of the things that I developed is my coffee. For those of you who have been here in the office with me, you will never see me drink coffee before 12 or 1 o'clock. It's just a habit that I have. So like today, right now, I'm making a commitment for the month of August to have as little sugar as possible. One of the things I've eliminated this week has been coffee. Again, I don't, I add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Another habit that I have is that I created a lunch time, a lunch period. For those of you who have been here at the office and have been hanging out with me here, I take my lunch between 1 and 2. Again, it's on my schedule. If I'm home, I stop whatever I'm doing and I have my lunch. One habit that I started taking as part of my diet is my water intake. I drink anywhere between 64 to 80 ounces of water a day. The first thing that I do every morning when I wake up is, again, I go, I brush, comb my hair, whatever. And then I step into the kitchen. I serve myself a glass of water, 12 to 16 ounces of water, and I drink that. That's a habit that I have. And so, again, it's just little habits just to improve and just to get you to become the best that you're capable of being. So hopefully that is of value if you get this far into the recording regarding this part about the goals of their habits, their diet, and all their training reflected a much larger goal. So here in the page 80, there's a graph here about the think big goals and big models. And as the graph goes, according to your income and what your goals or what your income goal is, your habits need to grow. You need to acquire bigger habits. Okay. And here in the graph, it shows you how this goes with time. Your production with time will increase, but your habits also need to increase. And once your habits increase, then your income will follow. So just like the book said, it's a magnetic pull. You have a big magnet out there in front, a big goal, which is correlated as a big magnet. And then your smaller goals that are smaller magnets will actually come closer and move closer with the passing of time. Now let's read page 81. So before you can move forward, you'll have to unlearn your old models and old habits and reinvent yourself with appropriate models and habits to support your new larger goals. So this is where training comes in. This is where reading comes in. How many of you are avid readers? And that's a question that each and every one of you should be answering. If you're not a reader, I highly encourage you to adopt this philosophy of reading. The fastest way to increase your income, and I'll put my money on it, if you take the next 12 months to 18 months to become a daily reader and just read on a regular basis. And what I'm talking about is reading anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes a day. Your income is going to increase anywhere between 25 to 35%. I guarantee you that. Just for the fact, because when you're reading, your thinking expands. And when your thinking expands, then you get ideas. And when you get ideas, then it's a matter of implementing the ideas. And that's where now, like they say, the rubber meets the road. Okay, so I highly encourage you, each and every one of you who are following and who are listening to or who will listen to this recording, is to become an avid reader. Make this one of your habits. If you sit down with me and you go through the first phase, the last page of the goal setting package, there's a growing, your growing plan, your growth plan. And in that growth plan is designed so you could put what is it you're going to do to grow yourself, to educate yourself, to train yourself. As I share with many agents that sit with me, if there's anything that I impart to them at the first time that they meet with me, two things is look at this as a business, treat it as a business. And number two is think of it going into the real estate university with the opportunity to earn a paycheck. And all of you who have been through schooling, you know that when you go to school, it's to learn. So again, this career is no different. And make learning base one of your foundations. And this is something that I'm going to be sharing down the road about the personal perspective. There's 6 phases to it, and one of them is being learning based. Okay, so part of that is reading. So I highly encourage you to read. So here, as I finish up on the number 2, the think big goals and big models, I'm going to continue to read here. Actually, here at the end, it says that the trick to soaring to your best is to adopt big goals, big models, and then start building the big habits that will support them. And here's a quote: one can never consent to creep when one feels the impulse to soar. Okay, so again, creeping is basically you're crawling, but if you have an impulse to soar, fly like an eagle, then you will not give into it. So let's jump into, let me see. Yeah, I think 20, actually I'm 25 minutes into this recording. So I think I'm gonna stop here at this time. Uh, I have here a couple agents here in the office, a couple listeners. Orlando just came in at the end. Marlene, um, she's been here, Marlene Reyes. Although she's not an agent, she is a big part of our office as a support. And with time, she is taking on other projects to help you, the agents, that down the road, we're going to be making announcements as to other systems that we're putting in place in order to help you and your business. So Marlene is just a a small rock throw from me to my right, sitting here at the receptionist desk. And Marlene, unmute yourself and give me any big ahas regarding what I have just shared over the last 20, 25 minutes.
Big ahas, either empower, like the
Give
daily
me a
habits.
second, Marlene. Give me a second. Let me just do something here. Okay,
I liked the comparison when you mentioned about the daily habits, and if they're empowering you or actually restricting you. And so you also discussed the small goals and how those tend to facilitate, the smaller, more minimal effort types of habits versus thinking big and pushing harder. And so I agree with that statement. I also think that if we think small goals, but pushing towards the big one, then what we're doing is creating that action plan, which is what you're constantly helping realtors do, get into action and take charge. So I like this book. I didn't write down the title, so I would like the title again.
Sure.
Because I think it is great, and it is true, it is a mindset. So if we're only focused on that small goal, then we are truly just doing minimal action. And so when you think of that small goal as the action step towards that big goal, then we're aligned and we're gonna hit that target. So that's great.
Awesome. Thanks. Hold on. I'm sorry. I was speaking, having a conversation with Marlene only. I just noticed that I was muted. All right. So what I was saying was that, yes, again, I encourage each and every one of you to get this book. And I shared with Marlene the name of the title of the book. So Orlando is not too far from me. And Orlando, I don't know if you heard anything I shared, 5, 10 minutes, 50 minutes, I don't know. I didn't keep track. Is there anything? Oh, okay, awesome. So he says he's gonna give me feedback on how I did, either a yay or a nay, and if it's worth his, it'll be worth his 25, 30 minutes of time after, he's gonna listen to the recording. So with that said, I bring this recording to an end. Again, I kept it 25, 30 minutes. I hope that what I'm sharing is of value to you. And again, I wish each and every one of you a great day, a great weekend. And hey, let's make something happen. And if you have not met with me, put it on your calendar, give me a call, and let's set up a meeting. Let's see how I can help you get your business moving forward. Until then, take care and God bless.